you are well aware that we live in a particular era in which many, especially younger women your age, disidentify with feminism.
Yes.
So I wondered if you could talk a little bit to that contingent. And I'm not exactly sure what I want you to say. I mean, the question is not loaded, but I guess I want you to talk about, why feminism? Why is that something one should identify with? And what are your thoughts on maybe why people don't?
Yeah. Wow. I am not entirely comfortable with the identity of feminist.
Okay.
And I think at the moment I more think, sometimes I move in and out of it, but at the moment I more think of myself as like, I think of feminism as a verb, and with an S on the end.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's more something that I do,
Yeah.
and like a commitment that I have in my process.
As opposed to an identity.
As opposed to an identity or something that I have.
It feels too fixed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that is because I'm totally aware that this is in large part because of the way it's been represented and like the politics of this representation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still very, very coded as white and liberal to me, and middle class and able-bodied, and even to some degree straight, I think. And so I'm worried about using the category and the word because I'm worried about who it excludes, and that's the sense that I get from people, friends and colleagues and other activists and stuff who might be slightly wary of it as an identity. Or like, so as a noun, that I'm very, very, very committed to doing feminism and feminisms, and I don't know if that sounds too...
No, I understand, and I'll maybe just push you a little bit. Do you think it is important or valuable to try and change the connotations of the word?
Yeah.
Or is it enough to sort of say that was a word that was used in the context and it hasn't changed and so we need to move on? Or should we try and reappropriate the word and make it mean all of the things that you have talked about, or not? I mean, I don't know, it's a good question.
I like the idea of definitely not throwing it away, but trying to like help it be, and it's why I do. I mean, in my work, I'm always like, yes, like it's, I use it a lot. And that it's trying to like show how it is used in different ways, and it's not, and that this is it's representation, it's coding as this kind of like white, liberal, able-bodied, middle class that's like that's a representation, and that's a representation that if anything has been like used to like undermine the significance of the movement and the significance of contributions that it's made. So I try very much to like be aware of the politics of it being coded in that way, and of how I am complicit in those politics by maybe not always hardcore identifying as feminist. I mean, I even feel uncomfortable saying that I don't identify as feminist, like, because it's like, but do I don't know, like it is, it's a slippery word, and I feel like I just have to be really careful of the context in which I use it, because it can signify so much to people and make them really, really wary, and I really respect that distrust that people have. I think in that paper I just wrote PWQ with Michelle and Amber, we talked about kind of the importance of both respecting and disproving distrust from communities. So like I totally respect and get the distrust of feminism, and I feel a compulsion or like an ethics or something to disprove it. Like, well, I feel like the onus is on us to disprove it, right? To actively show that feminism can be something that is like inclusive but not homogenizing, and something that can be still be very radical and politicized. That isn't just about kind of like pushing forth this liberal agenda.